My name is Ian and welcome to my gardening channel, Planted. In this video I've got two new plants that I got last week that are going to go in the garden, and I have an update on the seeds that I sowed just a couple of weeks ago. Spring is in the air, it's getting warmer, it really is time to get gardening. So let's have a little catch up on the seeds that I sowed. This is Nicotiana langsdorffii, and I use the salt pinch method where you pinch a few seeds and you sprinkle them on the surface. And I thought that I may have put in there 20 seeds or so, but I bet you there's 60 or 70. You must make sure that they do not dry out, and they are, of course, way too soon for those to be potted on. This is the beautiful Cobaea scandens alba, and I've got some that germinated early because they had more heat, and there's new ones coming. No matter how much you are tempted, do not try and pull off those seeds off the shoot. You'll damage the shoot and the plant will fail. They'll stay in there for probably another couple of weeks until they put out their first set of true leaves, and then I can pop them on. Now this is a new find for me. I've always liked Epimedium, I think they're beautiful. This is called Sandy Claus. It's quite a sizable Epimedium, and then it's got these beautiful big architectural leaves that look to be prickly, but they're not that prickly at all. But I love the foliage, the shape, the height. Very tough, very robust, and a plant well worth having. I was surprised to find it, and in springtime, having had not much gardening to do, I was seduced by the aura of a new plant. You see how this plant is nicely rooted through, and with any plant I'm always looking for extras, and you can see here we've got a little side clump, and I think we're going to operate on this and make ourselves a brand new free plant. Now be careful. You might not want to do this on your choice valuable plants to start with, but I'm going to snip in the back there with my brand new clippers I got for Christmas, and I can feel that there's a little substantial root. So what I'm looking for here is a little side shoot with a root and a leaf, and that's exactly what I get. Now you never know what's going to happen when you do this. We have leaves, which means that the plant can continue to photosynthesize. We have roots, which means that it can happily put out new roots from those existing roots. And all I have to do is put it into a reasonable sized pot, give it some water, and be patient. Now, the little shoots at the base of this are very delicate. Do not be tempted to get too close to that stem. This is something I've said to you many, many times before, and they'll break off quite easily. So there we have a little secondary plant for free, and I'm going to put this one back in the pot. There's nothing else on there that I want to trim or prune, so I think we're in good shape. It's always nice when you get a freebie and take care of it. So this is Epimedium Sandy Claus. I'm going to put this in a shady spot, and hopefully it will run rampant. Now this is a plant I've been after for a long time. Its fancy name is Schizophragma integrifolia fauriei. Now don't let that put you off. I put the fancy name up there so that there's no ambiguity. This plant is sometimes called the false hydrangea, the false climbing hydrangea, but there's lots of different Schizophragma. So the Latin name does avoid any ambiguity whatsoever. Choice plant, beautiful foliage, and you'll notice that these little climbing vines have got roots on them that want to stick onto a wall or grow across the ground. And just as with the previous plant, the Epimedium, I think I found myself here a little free plant. This lower branch has been resting on the growing medium, and some of those roots have grown into the growing medium, and I have myself a little free plant. Now you have to be careful, because you can very easily twist this and snap the roots. And what I should have done, you'll see me in a moment, I cut the end, but I should have done that sooner, because all you want is for this plant to live. It doesn't need to retain its current size. I just want it to put out new roots. And here we go, putting it in a sizable pot. It could stay in this pot for a number of months if it has to. I fully expect it to put out roots, and I'll plant it quite quickly. And there we go, there's that little side prune. What that does is also prevent it from drying out. If all those leaves opened at once, chances are that the ability for the plant to take up water would not match the amount of water that was going out. So with a Schizophragma or any vine that you want to plant, take time to take off all the ties and try and unwind it. If you can open it up, it means that you can spread the plant out more in its new location. I've got a few branches here that were growing up, and then a tape had been wrapped around it with the branch coming down. So I pruned those out. I've got rid of all of the crossing branches. So little quick tip, if you're ever going to do those potting on jobs when you buy a new plant, you want to buy the plant, take off the division, pot it on immediately, water it immediately, and then get it into an environment where it can grow. Here we are in early April. These two plants could stay outside. I think they would grow fine, but I'm lucky in that I've got my greenhouse, and it might be that they stay in here for a couple of weeks before they go outside and get natural light. But this is just a great way for them to have a warmer nighttime environment. Please do get in the practice of whenever you buy a plant, you get that plant in the ground as quickly as possible. Early spring, the plant isn't going to dry out so much, but once you get into May, June, and absolutely July, you need to plant it the day that you buy it. Dig out a super wide hole. What you're doing here is removing compaction, and that means that the plant can absorb more water and have more access to oxygen. Here I am burying the pot. This gets me the correct height, and I am not damaging any of the stems around the base of the plant. Take out the pot, and your plant will slide in there nice and neatly. Make sure you add the label, and as ever, you must make sure you water it. Don't just water the plant, but put the hose going around the outer edges so that the whole plant and all the soil around it get nicely hydrated. This plant is in a situation where it's going to get a perfect dappled shade, which is just what Epimediums want. And I'd like this to get, it's possible it could get 18 inches high, which would be just wonderful. And finally, we have the planting of the Schizophragma, the vine. The temptation here is that you might think that you want to plant it quite close to the wall, but I encourage you to pull it away from the wall at least a foot. And that way you've got more growing area for the plant to put out its new roots. If you push it up to a wall, obviously the plant can't put roots into the wall. So this distance from the center of the trunk to the wall, anywhere from 12 inches to 18, is ideal. Make sure that you firm it gently. You don't always need to get your foot in there and overly squash it. And as ever, add the label and then make sure you add some water. Happy gardening, get out there, dig a hole, go and plant something. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.